You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Dr. Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, Movo University, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Tractioning System, Imaging Services, Ignite Marketing, and Zingit Solutions. Let's hustle. Hey everybody, Jim Chester here. I got Dr. Justin Trosclair with me. He is down in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I am up here in the Grand Valley of Grand Junction, which is the western slope of Colorado, which I like to say no one lives. I came here because I wanted to hear the birds chirp. Before we jump into Justin's interview today, this episode is brought to us over that shoulder, by Barbara Eaton and her 56-day chiropractic boot camp. If you give her, I believe, about 2 months, she'll double your practice, or 90 days or something like that. Maybe it's 3 months, but if you get double in either 2 to 3 months, that's a pretty good deal in my opinion. And thank you, Barb, for sponsoring us and being one of our first supporters. And thank you so much, Dr. Justin, for making some time with me today.
Absolutely. Just in town for a little bit of time. So I was like, wait, let's get on the show with Jim. He's a big deal. It's going to be fun. Mom is just going to take 30 minutes and just kind of I'll come back.
So let's catch people up to speed. I know you're doing some really good work. You just recently come out with a book. It's called Tomorrow's Health. Today's Choice is Tomorrow's Health. And actually, when he was designing this book, he sent me some proofs and asked me what I liked them best. And now you got another version out too as well, right?
Yeah. A no needle acupuncture. Do it yourself at home type of book.
Well, that's cool. And a lot of times, we do something really important that we want to contribute, and most people just don't know where to find it. So how can people find this book?
needlessacupuncture.net/protocol. You can get some free chapters.
And you'll put that in the comments when we're done?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then this book, how do people get Today's Choice, Tomorrow's Health?
It's a doctorsperspective.net. You got to be kidding me. How do I unplug this? I already got it. Okay. It's live in somebody else's house. But a doctorsperspective.net/TCTH. Today's Choice is Tomorrow's Health. So TCTH, it'll take you to the place where you need to go to get it. It's also on Amazon, but you're going to pay more on Amazon than if you just go to that link.
Awesome. So, a lot of times we just wait till the end to give our resource links. So yeah. I wanted to pattern interrupt at the beginning. So people will watch this. They'll say, oh, so I can get his books there. I don't have to watch the whole interview, because some people are fair weather interview watchers. So let's get the early close. And then we'll go back into the end and reiterate where they can find the books again. So you do something really cool. You practice in China.
Yes.
Let's talk about practicing in a foreign country, a country that is really like not very common to many people that are going to be watching this.
Yeah. So China is great in the sense that there's not very many rules as far as for chiropractic. You don't have to take new boards. All you got to do is have a license in America, probably Europe, and you can go practice there and you become a foreign expert. Now, you could probably work in your own clinic, but I think there's like a bunch of rules where you might have to be a citizen of some sort or married to somebody. So usually what we end up doing is working in a hospital or in somebody else's private clinic. You don't really get a lot of say in what you do. You're an employee. So when you're looking around, you're like, I'm not saying I know everything, but we could do a few different things and we can get busier, but you're the boss. So we'll just do what you like. So sometimes these clinics, they last about a year or two, and then they shut down, or they charge such high prices where only the super rich can go to it. If you make $1,500 a month and I'm charging you $400 or $500 per visit, yeah, okay. You need to have some money. You're not just going to be the farmer, which is what we see. We're in a hospital. They get 8 visits. They can stay in the hospital itself as if you were having like your kidney removed or something. And they go get acupuncture, and they come downstairs, and then we do adjustments, some flexion distraction. If they need decompression, they can do that. Maybe show them a little self-care rehab stuff, so that way they can strengthen it, because they're going to be out there on the farm tomorrow or the next, maybe for a week, and they're back out there. So you really can do what you want. So if you don't have the skills or like the confidence, if you come, you will become confident, because you're going to be the only person that's doing it, and you're going to get MRIs on everybody. That's kind of fun. I wasn't really that great at MRIs, I'll be honest. You come to school, you're doing X-rays all day, you get an MRI, you're just looking at the doctor's report, you're like, that's a bulge. Yeah, okay, yeah, I see that. Sure, L5 is it? So I took some extra classes because I was here for so long. It's my 4th year, and after that first year, I was like, I just need to get more education in this topic. So I used William Morgan, actually, the Parker president.
Mm-hmm.
He teaches some classes, and that was good. And then I did some more MRI just because I needed some classes, and it was enjoyable. I enjoyed what I was learning. So anyway, better at MRI now. So when the patients come in, you see some crazy stuff, man. Like all these cysts and modic changes and things you wouldn't see in private practice, or you didn't know you saw or would see. We had a Cyrix, syringomyelia in the spinal cord of like C4, and she was having headaches. So I was like, if you didn't have an MRI, you would have just adjusted her. Maybe should have got better. But now that you have the MRI, you're like, well, probably don't really want to be messing around with a space-occupying lesion inside your spinal canal. So
let me interject for a moment too. And
please.
Why out of all places did you decide that China was a good solution for you to go practice there?
I don't have it's not like I was like, oh, China, the great unknown. I was looking for a place to practice. I sold my clinic in Colorado, and I didn't really want to jump back into clinic ownership. I didn't know about barber then. Maybe my life would have been a little bit easier. But I was just like, man, I want to take some vacations. I just don't want the stress of being a practice owner right now. But I didn't want to get paid $30,000 because I had 7 years experience. I was like, I'm not a scrub anymore. Like, I know what I'm doing. I just need a place to do it. And I was looking around. I was looking at like Ireland. I don't think it has very many rules. Australia, you got to have your boards. And I was like, well, I don't remember all the stuff about the kidney. And then I saw China, and I was like, China, interesting. I was like, I know somebody that worked in Dubai for a while. I was like, that's a place that I thought would be kind of crazy to work at too. Anyways, like, there's 1 billion people. If I'm really scared, I could probably just get a flight, take off work on Friday, fly home. Where's Justin? Oh, we don't know. He hasn't been to work for like a week. He's like, oh, I went home.
He took the longest lunch break in the history of man.
Yeah, exactly. So I had an exit strategy, and I have a tattoo of a cross on my leg. And I was like to the guy, I was like, hey man, will I be able to wear shorts? Because you said it's like hot like Mexico down there. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, well, I don't want to go to work camp, spread Christianity or something. He's like, dude, you watch way too many movies. And it's like, well, I have no idea. I just wanted to make sure that I wouldn't disappear in the airport or, Christianity something or another. And he's like, dude, stop. Just stop. It's like, all right. So it's safe. He's like, yes. Like, we have running water. We have toilets. We have refrigerators. We have people make millions and millions of dollars. Like, we have the enterprise. You can own your own business. So like, the sky's the limit.
So it's not like 1940s China.
No, not at all. Although where I'm at is a small town, so you never know.
That's cool. It's really cool that you decided to go and test your limits for experience and develop a system and strategy and give service to people that might not otherwise know chiropractic, and they might not be getting adjusted.
Yeah, they don't. I'm the one chiropractor for 200,000 people, and as of last week, I think I'm the only chiropractor for an entire state. Actually, probably like 2 or 3 states. Which, I mean, obviously we're not advertising a 3-state radius to come and see me, but I mean, I got to travel a ton though. By the way, I've seen 14 countries.
That's cool.
I'm like doing a sales pitch for China, guys. Like, you get paid well, you get paid better than a first-year associate. I mean, I get paid more than that now too, but you save a ton of it. It's $1 to eat. It's $1 less for like a Coke. Like, if you like Coke, it's like 55 cents. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah, man. Well, save money and then start your own clinic a year later,
Tim McFadden says, Justin, you crack me up. And honestly, I've been laughing the whole time too. We had like a 10-minute pre-interview chat, and it was very humorous, Tim. So thanks for being on with us today. And Tim also says there are small towns in China.
Well, yeah, that's a small. My like with the town I'm in right now. This I'm not in Lafayette, but Bro Bridge is. I don't know. I could walk an hour, from one side of town to the next. An hour. That's not really that long in walking. You hike a lot, You're like in a mountain. You're like, wow, that was an hour. Oh man, I still got so many miles left. But so everything's 6 stories, and that means it's a small town, 4 to 6 stories. Whereas a big city, everything's 20 and 30 stories. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah.
So tell me a little bit geographic on China. What part of that country are you in?
I am kind of like the Phoenix to New York. So Beijing is like New York. Shanghai would be more like North or South Carolina. And then I'm all the way by Phoenix. So that would be more like Thailand and Vietnam. I'm maybe a 6 hour drive and I'd be in Vietnam,
Oh wow.
south. So I have like 11 different exotic fruits and vegetables like dragon fruit, lychees, jackie fruit. You're like, I don't know any of those fruits at this point. That's like growing on the streets. Mangoes are on the streets. They're like, please stop picking the fruit on the street. They're
so,
not for you.
so what's the state that you're in? Tim's asking.
It's called Yunnan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're the only DC out there rocking spines.
Kunming is our capital city, and they call it Spring City. It's kind of it feels like Denver.
Okay. Okay.
Not
Yeah,
where I'm at, though.
I lived in Denver for 5.5 years. So what's the weather like? Does it get like wintry?
It does. Like in Kunming, the capital, it's going to be kind of springy. Middle of the summer, it's kind of more hot, but very much like a Denver type of feel. Barely
Okay.
snows, though. So it's always like 40 to 60 degrees. Kind of feels real good in this fall and the spring. But where I'm at, we're in a valley. So it's almost like a whirlwind of every piece of heat in the province just comes right down to our little town and just sits there and percolates. It's like, ooh, it's been 90 to 100 degrees since middle of February. So whenever I went home this past week, I was like, oh my gosh, I should have brought like a long pair of pants or something because it was chilly. I was like, I forgot. It's probably so yeah, anyway, it's now June, but I mean, it was May, and I was like, I'm not used to having spring anymore.
So let's turn the next page, and I know it's a big one for you and your family. You have a little bun in the oven. Let's talk about having a Chiro kid, man.
I'm excited. Like, it's a baby girl. They have different ways of doing things here, so we're gonna stay in the hospital for like a month. They're gonna have the mom do yoga and get them in shape before they get out of there, and that's not normal. We got to pay extra for all that, but it's available. And breastfeeding is very common out here. I think that's a big thing. I think for a little while Americans were like, let's just feed them a bottle. Like, what? So they breastfeed here. They're gonna get really taken care of. As far as me, I mean, I'm gonna check it. I'm not the most pediatric certified person, so I know it's not about you're not trying to deliver a side posture to a 200-pound man to a little kid. Obviously, it's just little taps here and there. But I'm excited. As far as like, I don't know exactly. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to vaccinate this kid because to get back into America, you can't just go to China and not have your vaccinations. So you can't just go to America. But like, there's some things here that you kind of want to, Japanese encephalitis. I'm not sure if you know what encephalitis means, but that means your brain swells and it's infected, and then you could literally become brain dead. Hepatitis is something China, you share food. So if you have something and I'm eating out of the same bowl as you, then I could get it. So I'm definitely not a chiropractor that's like, vaccines are going to kill you or cause autism and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's not me. So I'm not really worried about it. I do hope I can spread them out. If we're going to talk about it, like, I don't know how they do it here. I hope it's not like 20 shots at once. So I hope it's not like that. But I think they're flexible of how you do it and everything like that. But it's different. It's more natural here to try to do they don't try to do C-sections. They want you to deliver a natural baby. Other than that, man, it's going to be exciting. Everybody's super stoked to see a mixed baby over there. Yeah, my wife says it's gonna have a 3D face. I was like, a 3D face? She's like, yeah, my nose is so flat, but yours is. It's really good for pictures. I was like, all right. And so we saw a little sonogram, uh, or an ultrasound in the 4D style. So I saw a little picture of her, and we're like, oh my gosh, that's my baby.
He's got Justin's nose.
That's right. It's gonna have her eyes, that's for sure, but it'll have my nose.
That's so cool, man. Well, congratulations. I know it's going to be fun to have you add a family member and be a good dad and take care of your family the right way. And I know it's a big honor for most men to bring a new life into the world and to be a father. So, congrats for that.
Thank you. And I do plan to be the dad that actually plays with their kids and, you know, hangs out with them and wants to play T and dolls and GI Joes and whatever else. So
Yeah, it's cool. It's
daunting.
So I know we touched on these books. Let's talk a little bit about why you wrote it.
Okay. I got a lot of free time in China. Imagine that. We're not seeing 100 a day or anything like that. So I've got a lot of free time. And so I was just like, man, I caught up on Netflix at the time. You feel like a bum watching too much TV and you're playing on Facebook. And then you're like, I can't play on Facebook any longer. I need to do something with my life. And you don't want to waste all that time. So, and I was like, all right, what do I know? I already had a blog and everything. So I was like, I love these things. I love chiropractic. I love talking about diet and nutrition, but not like just, making a lifestyle choice. So it's like small changes causing big effects later on in life. Like you're not going to just stop eating ice cream tomorrow. You're not going to do it. Maybe for a day or two. And then you can be like, oh, wait, somebody's birthday party. So, trying to figure out ways to do that, like based on research, based on experience in two different cultures. Because at that point, I'd already been in China for like 2 years. And so I put in like little tricks and tips that they do, things that I've read about, things that I've experienced because I had my own weight loss journey and going to the gym. And, I was like 5 minutes on a treadmill. Like I can't distract myself enough to get through these 5 minutes. It was so rough. So how do you go through that? Like, is that normal? Yeah, I think it's normal if you're a bum. All you do is sit around and watch TV and everything, and you finally like, I need to go do something. The doctor said I might die in about 10 years from heart attack. Well, you're going to be discouraged. I can't do 30 minutes on the cardio. I might as well just give up. Oh, don't give up. So anyway, I put that down, and then after I wrote the book, man, I was like, you know what? I really love talking about money, finances, budgeting. And that's one of the most common things people divorce about. It's one of the most common things that people stress out about. So I was like, you know what? I think it deserves its own section in the book. So I'm not sure if your version, because I wrote 2 different versions. It was self-published, so it's easy. You just redo it. And so I added that section and got a big section on that, calories and everything I just said. So that was it was a fun experience to go through and sit down and write. And like I said, I did it. And that was a big accomplishment to me. If nobody buys it, it's like I did it. It's there, and I can give it away if I need to.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I was always told, Justin, that there's nothing greater to market yourself than your own book, and to create something that people can have tangible that has your name on it makes you an expert immediately. So I think that you doing that, regardless of how much people digest the content, but just having something to say, this is one of the things that I've accomplished along my journey to excellence as being an influencer, a positive human, a good doctor. When your child is 18, they'll be like, damn, my dad wrote this book the year before I was born, and look at that. And building a legacy. That's kind of why I started making films for chiropractic, is because when I do walk this long path of life, I want to look back on a legacy that I helped create, and to create content that people can deliver information with and learn from, and to say, wow, that was something really special, and that did something for the course of humanity, and look at where that guy's career is now. So I don't kind of want it the only reason that I do what I do for those reasons, but I know that we can build legacy with creating good quality content and getting it out to get out into more people's hands. And honestly, I believe that the first film that we made on chiropractic is still educating people at a massive scale about what chiropractic is and chiropractic isn't, and who it's for, and why it's safe, why it's affordable, why it's effective. And I think that bringing into lightness some of those ideas, it really unconfused some of the people out there that didn't know what chiropractic is or who it's for, or why would they go if they don't have a car crash? Why would they go if they don't have a neck pain or back pain? But why is it good for people to go and get checked and adjusted as necessary for the rest of their life, even if you're not expressing symptoms?
Yeah.
So
I could tell you in China, they I just adjust. It's pretty quick, and they're like, wait, that it? You're like, yeah, I'm not giving you a massage. Like, I thought that's what you did. I'm like, no, absolutely not. JJ, translate for me. This is not a massage. This is it. They're like, huh? I was like, yeah, you just spent an hour getting everything else. Like, that was, quote, your massage, acupuncture, muscle stim. Like, you've already done that part. Like, this is what you're paying me for.
And that's just it, is like the adjustment is something special. And if people know how important it is to have good, proper spinal hygiene and to get checked and adjusted if necessary for vertebral subluxation, they would just have a better quality of life. And I've closed so many people into chiropractic visits that I tell people I've never recommended chiropractic services to anybody that their life got worse. Yeah. So, and be like Warren Buffett, invest in yourself, know thyself. And I believe that when you do start correcting the vertebral subluxation, you start freeing up people's abilities to think clearly. You start freeing up people's abilities to start feeling self-worth. I mean, it's one of the only professions out there that actually is a medical profession that focuses on the healing touch. Yeah. and having healing hands, and actually putting a proper exam to somebody and not being afraid of putting gloves on before you touch somebody, and I think that there's something about the human touch with chiropractic that really sets people free as well.
Yeah. And I'm definitely a mixer. If somebody's worried about all that kind of stuff, like, it's just the power of the adjustment, the tick part of it is huge. I just want, like, that's your staple. So if they took away my rehab, if they took away my cold laser, they took away my, I don't know if super straight's considered flexion distraction and adjustment or not, but if they took all that away, I would say, like, okay, I can still get people better, but I think all that other stuff is super important and is going to get you longer results. But yeah, I mean, it's like what you said. Everything you just said is dead on.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle Live. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession. This episode is brought to you by Clothes for Chiro, Chiro Sushi, Dr. Barbara Eaton's 56-day chiropractic boot camp, Dr. Alok Trivedi, the Black Diamond Club, Element Mattresses, Legacy Wealth Management, Posture Screen, MedZone, Vantage Point Marketing, Movo University, Vita Chiropractic, the Universal Tractioning System, Imaging Services, Ignite Marketing, and Zingit Solutions. Let's hustle. I talk about this stuff so often that it's becoming a part of, like, my delivery. I'll just be at the grocery store and I'm say, hey, have you heard that chiropractic can unsubluxate you? I'm kidding. But hey, you have a low left shoulder. Do you know that you might have, do you know that you might have something going on with your C-spine?
Who are you? Trust me. You want to know me.
Do you know what foot flare is? You're representing a huge case of foot flare and your gait is completely off. How's your lower back?
What's cool is, I don't know about this, when I'm in town or, like, meet people and I'm just, like, talking about chiropractic, I'm like, yeah, you should really go see somebody because yada, yada, yada. But I was like, you know what? If I was in the grocery store in my hometown, I would be way more timid to have that conversation than I am with, oh, you should go find somebody. Here's a website. You're not going to see me, so there's no financial gain. I'm just saying, you look like you need somebody to help your back, and you didn't even know to go see a chiropractor. And I think that's not uncommon. Much more bold.
So you being this acclaimed author, I mean, it's awesome that you've done that. It's cool that you've traveled to go practice chiropractic abroad. You also started a podcast called A Doctor's Perspective. Let's
Yes.
dive in. Let's dive into that a little bit. And I know it's not just chirocentric. I know that you get the ideas and you get information plugged in there from different walks of life and maybe even some ideas with marketing.
Yeah. So I was listening to, Dr. Ed and all these other different kinds of podcasts out there, and that was before you had one. So just messing with you. So I just feel like they're always so short. And there's always like, man, you could go down this path, but you have a time constraint. And then I would hear people saying about like, oh man, I was having a $1 million clinic, but I only see my kids on the weekend. I was like, oh, that's too bad. You're divorced or you just don't see them. And I was like, I think I could do this, but I don't want to just do chiropractic because I think, we always use dentists as analogies a lot of times, like braces, changing your car oil, all that type of stuff. And I was like, I think there's something to learn from other professions because if it works for them, it could work for us. And because we're always so into ourselves, maybe it'd be good to hear what an eye doctor might do to get new patients or to get reactivations because, some people wear their glasses for 6 years. They probably aren't happy about that. You know what I mean? Like that's not very good eye health. Once every 6 years, you get an exam. So anyway, so that's who I interview all kinds of different doctors, the ones I just mentioned. Like this month, I just did a lady who does like Chamber of Commerce, BNI, networking groups. I got an eye doctor management company. I had a dentist the other day who kind of does similar things. A lady that specializes in Pinterest marketing. So sometimes it's marketing focused, and then sometimes it's the management part of it. And a lot of times it's just I meet somebody on like Instagram, and I'm like, wow, I really like your profile. I liked your web page. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation about podiatry. I got a podiatrist management group coming up too. And so it's like, so I just ask those questions like, what do you do? What do you market? What's some struggles that you have? What's your misconceptions? Obviously with chiropractic, I'm gonna kill you. Or once I go, I can never stop going. You're like, all right, well, that doesn't make any sense to us. So they have their own. Are you kidding me right now? So, so I cover all those types of issues, and I always like to enter it with, how do you have a home life balance? How do you keep the love alive in your relationships, or spending time with your kids, or taking vacation? I mean, a lot of doctors are guilty. They take July 4th off and Christmas, So let's not get burned out.
So let's turn the page a little bit forward now. This is unscripted, so I haven't even prepped you for this question. But if somebody were to follow 2 to 3 people in the chiropractic space that's creating content and media, who would you recommend anybody out there listening to start following to start filling themselves up with good content?
Man, I am excited about. I think it's Kevin Christie with Modern Chiropractic Marketing. I like him. If you don't like marketing, I mean, good luck. I like him. Chad Woolner is doing pretty good with his Chiro funnels because some of us do those $19 exams and don't realize how to create value. So not only is he helping create value, but then he's also like, well, how do you make a side hustle as well? So I think there's a lot of goodness there. And, the Forward Thinking Chiropractic Alliance, it's a Facebook group. We just had our first seminar last weekend. It was unbelievable. Just seeing that realm of the chiropractic, the California jams and those are very loud. They're very popular. They get a lot of attention. And then sometimes with people like myself, where we're like, well, we're okay with vaccinations. We're okay with like a massive rehab like program that's gonna help the patients. We don't have a huge voice sometimes, or at least a noticeable voice, I think. So this is, if you're like me, there's a group out there. It's almost 6,000 people strong, like-minded, and we want to have these conversations together. So those are some people that I would recommend, like I said, marketing as well as all the other stuff. So I think.
Well, that's my episode of A Doctor's Perspective.
Yeah.
I was able to get your perspective on what you see as good groups to be in. So Kevin Christie, the Modern Chiropractic Marketing Group, Forward Thinking Alliance, is that an event?
It's a Facebook group.
Okay.
And then we just had a seminar because we were like, let's get together and camaraderie and learn some things and
And
just
you,
kind of put faces to names from Facebook. You're like, who are you? Oh, that's you.
yeah, Jeffrey Langmaid was there too.
Yeah, he gave a keynote. I don't know if it's going to keynote. He gave a presentation, and then he gave like two presentations, and then he answered a bunch of questions for students. Dude, that is surprisingly fun. Talking to students who they're like, I've learned all of this stuff. I don't know what to do first. I've got a shoulder tendinopathy. What do I do? There's like 18 things I could do for this, and so it's like, oh well, you're gonna develop it, but this is what I would do. That's so fun to me.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and
Jeff,
I love talking to students too because they're our future leaders, and I'm putting myself together with the smartest people in chiropractic right now. I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm developing like the A team of chiropractic influencers, and I'm slowly but surely making influence with all the chiropractic colleges and students. So I look to the future as what can we do together instead of what can we do as our own chapter, but what can we do together as a profession, and how can I be the biggest megaphone for the people out there that need it, and how can I help unify people to say that you're right as well as they're right. And I think that that's something that we kind of the chiropractic profession's become a little divided, if you will, because of how one person's willing to say what you've said today and talk about tough topics, but also finding interest in other medical care providers and not shunning them. I think that as we go forward, we have to decide that we're all more alike, like Ed Osborne would say, we're all more alike than we are different.
yeah,
And the more that we realize that we all have a similar heartbeat and a similar pulse and, similar, biology inside of us, that we should help one another more than distance ourselves from each other. And I say it this way to everybody: as long as we're not bringing drugs and surgery into the chiropractic profession, we're all good. So
yeah.
that gets my
Well,
stamp.
everyone we just mentioned has a much bigger podcast following than I do. Dr. Ed's legit. I mean, he was the number one gangster out there. Dr. Jeff, he was saying he had 10,000 downloads the other day on one episode. I'm like, okay, I'm spinning my wheels if that's the benchmark with a chiropractic podcast. So like those two people too. It's like, man, there's so many names that you could say because those guys are doing it and they're providing a real service for people.
Well, I'm very proud to raise my hand today and say that Chiro Hustle is encroaching 10,000 listens an episode myself. So we've been out for just under a year. We're just released episode number 49. 52 is our year. And year to date, for I think it's been 20 months or something, 18 months, I've done about 450 interviews, whether at live events or side by side like this, or actual interviews for podcast episodes. So I believe, creating content that's quality and staying consistent are probably the main two takeaways. If anybody's made it this far into this program, that if you are more consistent, you create more quality content, eventually you will be at the front. Everybody will know what your jersey number is from the back.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. 450.
I can't wait till I hit 500, man. I can't wait till I hit 1,000.
Are you going to do an interview jumping out of an airplane or something? I mean, 500, you got something big.
But, I just look at that as, with dedication and support. I can't do this without my team, man. I can't do this without Dwayne helping. I can't do this without Myra. I can't do this without Luke. I can't do this without the people agreeing. I can't do it without you saying, yeah, I would do that. It's not just me. I just became the catalyst for sharing the message. And being consistent and nurturing the tribe all along the way, and stay in the course. I think one of the things that most people do is, I'll say this again, is most people get into a system like this and they start finger painting, and I believe that I'm creating masterpieces. So when people take their ideas from dabbling to massively doing, they can actually see where the direction's going and stay consistent with the message. Give your time, give your talents, and give your treasure for what you find is necessary for you to build your tribe and you to become the megaphone for your mission. And I think that if we ever come to terms with who we are and what we want, we have to really find out where our lane is and how long can we stay on it and how can we get people to help support us in what we want to do.
And we need people like you who are like, you found a way. I don't like always talking about money, but you found a way to monetize so you could support yourself doing what you love. Because if you never got $1 for this, well, you'd probably be having to do a 8 to 12 hour a day job doing something else. You wouldn't have 450 episodes, or if you would, you'd be up all night every night, burning out. But the point is, we need people like you who are willing to invest their time and a profession that's willing to give back so that you can continue to overall grow this thing. And so that's, I mean,
well, it was a year ago, Justin, that I posted a question: should I continue doing what I do, or should I go to chiropractic school?
I think I remember that. I was like, please don't go to school. Stay with doing what you're doing. As long as you can make a living, you'll have a bigger impact not going to school, I think.
And it's getting better because now I feel like we're in the early stages of developing a Chiro Hustle rep at every chiropractic school. Mm-hmm. So they're going to start sharing our content to their groups. And after 90 days of that program with them, they're going to be taught how to run a podcast under the Chiro Hustle flag, and how they can start interviewing people in their communities, different business owners, and start cross-pollinating the chiropractic brand into their chiropractic community.
Dude, watch out.
and then there's big stories that people made to this point. We're actually developing a media company, so it's not just about
that's been in the works for a while, right?
It has been.
Yeah, it takes time. That's all I was trying to say with that. Not that you're not doing it, but it takes time for an entire dream to come about.
Well, the more that I speak on it and the more that people hear it, the more that people bang the drum with me, and they're like, wow, we definitely need what you're doing. Please don't stop. And that's why I give kudos to guys like you, and to Jeffrey, and to Ed, and to Chad, and to Kevin, and to people out there that are actually doing above and beyond, and people that are actually 10X in their lives, and people that are in it to win it, and they're doing the crunch time. They finish stronger than they started, and that they know how to build their tribe and stay consistent and build the community and nurture people. And I think that that's really what we need. Is we need more consistency in the nurturing. We need more consistency in also the digital relationship, but also the factual, like palm to palm, knee to knee relationships with people. I think so many times we misconstrue how important it is to keep the same person on the screen as it is the same person when you see me. And I was just at this big keto summit down in Louisville, Kentucky, and one of the guys, a guy named Dr. Diamond, didn't know who the hell I was. But I went out and I saw him. I was like, hey, man, really nice presentation. I'd like to reach out to you sometime and have a conversation. And he was kind of a dick. And and he basically said, you can find me on Google and send me an email. And I'm like, cool. That's cool. You obviously don't know why I'm trying to approach you and talk to you. So I'm just going to let you go about your day. I'm glad you gave a good presentation.
Yeah, because you don't want to be that guy that's like, do you know who I am, mister?
I just wanted to say thank you and to be like, a fan kind of, because people come to me a lot now. They'll see me at an event and they'll, treat me as if I'm like famous or something. I'm like, no, I'm just doing what I like to do. Thanks for noticing. But, when you get to that position of influence, you want to be the same person you are on this portal as you are to a palm to palm experience.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So just dropping some gold to people about how to behave within your tribe and within people that might not know you, and treat everybody like you would want to be treated. Follow the biblical golden rule, give people the same treatment that you want. And if you treat people like an ass, you're going to eventually get treated like an ass. So maybe that's karma from years ago. Who knows, that I was kind of difficult to be with or to interact with. And it came back to me. And when I least expected it, when I think that I'm climbing the ladder.
I invited somebody on my own podcast one time, and he might have had 600 followers. And I checked Facebook too, and I was like, no, he's not a big deal yet, at least on social media. I don't know who he is in the world, but I liked what he was putting out there. And the response I got from him, I was like, he's like grilling me, like, who are you? What's your podcast numbers? Rah, rah, rah. And I was like, whoa, big dog, I got 10,000 followers. If we're just playing the numbers game, you should be happy I asked you on the show. I was like, wow, guy's got an ego. Not worth my time.
That's funny, man. Well, I know we've been going a little long today. Is there anything that we didn't share with our audience that you'd like to drop knowledge on people?
Not really. I mean, if I'm plugging myself, the acupuncture book, I would just say it's no needles. It's at home. If you 40 common conditions. It's it could be for doctors. It could be for regular people. Check out the books. Check out the podcast. Like I said, it's not just chiropractors on there, so it'll broaden your scope a little bit, and you can definitely listen, learn, and implement what other people have said.
Well, Doc, thank you for letting it rip today, and thank you for making me laugh, and thank you for adding so much to the people out there. And we'll answer one more question. Earlier on, Tim McFadden says, "Have you been to Burma or Nepal?"
I've been to Burma, and I believe my wife rode bikes for 1 month in Nepal. She made it all the way up to Mount Everest's area.
Oh, cool. Base camp.
Yeah.
So if you guys are watching this on replay and you made it to this far, just let me know that you've watched it and hashtag replay in the comments there. So I know that you've gotten all these golden nuggets from Justin and myself. And thank you for the chiropractic conversation today, Dr. Justin Trosclair. He is down in Lafayette, Louisiana. I am here in the Grand Valley of Grand Junction, which is on the western slope of Colorado, which I like to say no one lives, and I moved here to hear the birds chirp. And this episode is brought to us today by Barbara Eaton, her 56-day chiropractic boot camp. I believe you give her 60 to 90 days, she'll double your practice. And who doesn't want that? She's a fantastic coach, and she's a leader. She leads from the front, and she always helps people in need. So, Dr. Justin, I'm going to close out. Is that cool?
That's great, man. Keep hustling.
You're just one story away. Keep hustling. See you, brother.
Thanks again, buddy.
Thank you for listening to Chiro Hustle Live. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.